Hello and welcome back to our garden. So we are in Spain and this is the beginning of March and this is our no-dig permaculture garden. I'm gonna give you a little tour to see how things are going, but it's been winter so we haven't really done much. So let's see what's going on in the garden. We have some irises growing and we have our raspberry patch. In this little corner here, so we have more irises and then the tulips are starting to come out. Over here we have a raspberry patch which we're trying to extend. So we have 3 different varieties of strawberries. And we also have asparagus growing within the strawberries, but at the moment they're not coming out yet. But there should be some coming up. This is the kale that has been keeping us fed all winter. We also have some celery, but not much going on in this little section. This is our soft fruit section. And then again, we planted a few new plants. So we have blueberries, gooseberries, and then some other berries. So over here we have some carrots and spinach. The spinach hasn't been very successful. We only have 4 plants growing, but hopefully more will germinate soon. And the carrots are doing great. The idea with this is that we plant them quite close together and then we thin them out, but we let them grow a little bit so we can still eat them, and then we just take them out. These ones were planted last winter, so like October, November, and they're just starting to come out now. This is an interesting one. Last year in the summer we had our salad patch up there and then they all seeded and now we have a salad patch just at the front. So we usually have this grass, but we were just gonna leave it as our salad patch. So we're just gonna put a little border and then leave it. They look very, very happy. These are our broad beans. These were planted in the winter, so October, November, and they dealt very well with the frosts and they're just doing very well. We need to put some straw down to cover the grass. There's also some salads coming out, so we'll need those first and then we'll put the straw down. This one is our first raised bed. The plan for this garden is to have raised beds all along. The reason for this is like easier to control the weeds and also it's nicer to garden in it. I can just sit on the side and then just do my weeding and like my planting. So this one we did it last winter, maybe late summer, and we filled it with compost and then we put straw down and then we kept the straw all winter so the soil is still rich and moist and then is ready to plant all our little seedlings. We started doing this fence. So the idea of our garden is that we have our veg garden on this side and then we have more like a grassy tree section there. We want to build it higher and then we're just going to weave more willow. So this is just like willow and we'll just build it up. We also let the chickens out on this section, but obviously I don't want the chickens in my veg, otherwise they'll eat them all. We use permaculture to plant our vegetable garden because by recreating nature, then we create like easy to maintain systems that provide us with the veg we want, but controlling pests and diseases with other plants. The idea is just to keep good soil. So if you have good soil, that's the food that your plant needs to be a healthy plant. So along this fence line, we are gonna plant our tomatoes. So we're gonna have tomatoes on that side and then tomatoes on this side. So the way that we're gonna implement permaculture in this specific section is we're gonna have our tomato plants just along the fence. Tomatoes have like deeper roots. Also, we don't water them unless that is really necessary and unless it is a very, very dry summer. In that way, then the tomatoes put deeper roots and then they get all the water and nutrients from down below. We're also going to interplant the tomatoes with basil. So the basil, it doesn't compete for a start because it's got like shallower roots. So again, that we're using permaculture, so we're recreating nature where you have like forests, where you have like bigger trees and then like shrubs and things. So you are growing things at a different root levels, so they benefit each other by taking different nutrients from the soil and then bringing it up to the surface. So this is our chicken enclosure. We did another whole video on the chicken enclosure, so you can have a look at our video. I'll just leave the link on the description below. Chickens are happy. They spend the whole winter there, loads of eggs, they got plenty of space, and then we let them out on this section as well, so they have a bit more space. But they love the shade from the cherry tree, and we leave like some like grassy bits, so they still have a lot to rummage around. This is our apple tree. This will be the second summer of our apple tree. Last year we had about 15-20 apples, so we are hoping for more, but it's looking good. It's about to flower, so it's looking great. Our avocado tree, however, it just doesn't enjoy the frost at all, and we've had a few frosty days and frosty mornings, so it's really struggling. Like, it was doing quite well before the last month, but then yeah, loads of frosts. But I think it will recover, like it usually does. We'll see. This one is our plum. It's our green gauge. If you watched our last video on the garden tour, we had different plum here, but it got replanted. It was in the chicken enclosure and it got replanted here, and unfortunately didn't make it. So we have now replaced it with a green gauge, and this one is doing great, so hopefully it will be fine. Over here we're trying to create a more bushy border. We have a couple of roses, so we cut a few trimmings of a rose that we have over there, and then we just put the rose in the soil, and to be honest, is doing very well. And all the roses that we put down, they have leaves now, so they're coming along quite well. So this is our hibernacula. This was Joe's ideas. When he told me about his idea of the hibernacula, I just thought it was a pile of sticks with some soil on top, which I think that's what basically is. But to be honest, there's a lot of wildlife in there, so it's working quite well. I actually really like the hibernacula now. And these are compost piles. This one is the one that we filled last summer, and then we used this compost to put in the raised bed. And now this one is the one that we started late summer, and we just put all our food waste in there, plus all our weeds and yeah, all the green stuff that comes out of the garden, and we put also some cardboard in there. This is our walnut. It's a multi-stem walnut, so the idea is that it doesn't grow too big, but it will have like different branches. This is our lovely cherry. It's probably going to start flowering soon. I reckon in a couple of weeks to 3 weeks it will be completely blossomed and full of flowers. So this was our garden. Thank you so much for watching, and expect a new video in the next coming month with more updates. Goodbye. And it has some lovely flowers. That's it. Why am I running out of breath? I'm such a fatty.
Maybe you're just pregnant.
Maybe. Trunks, stems, trees, branches. We have this eriostemon.
Yes, what?
Eriostemon.